Hey everyone, welcome to the first Workiz webinar of the year. We're very excited to have you join us today. My name is Boris, and I'm thrilled to be your host. I'm part of the marketing team, and I've been with Workiz for over 2 years. I'm honored to have here today Katelyn Bean, Senior Account Executive Fintech, and Jeff Eisenberg, Director of Fintech Monetization. Thank you both for joining. We have lots to talk about today. We'll explore the emerging payment trends, from contactless to digital wallets. You'll learn key stats on consumer preferences and get tips to optimize your payment processes. Our goal today is to provide actionable insights so you can offer the payment options your customers want. Whether you're just getting started with payments or looking to expand your options, you'll discover new ways to get paid so you can focus on the work you love. Now, before we dive in, here's a quick agenda for today's webinar. We'll talk about the decline of cash and show interesting data about it. Then we'll review the digital payment trends, do a deeper dive and talk about the practical tools that will help your business move beyond cash. And finally, we'll talk about the Holy Grail, the key to growing financially in 2024 and beyond. You'll also have some time for questions towards the end of the webinar. So if you have any questions, feel free to submit those in the questions tab that you can find in the lower menu. Jeff, Katelyn, let's kick things off. So
Great.
I wanna start with the statement. Cash is declining. While multiple articles and financial magazines indicate that this is something that happens really fast, a deeper dive shows something less radical, but definitely a vivid trend that you, the business owners, should be aware of. Now, this is a share of the total number of payments and payment types in the US. Now, looking at this, we do see a decline in cash starting from 2019, picking up a bit in 2021, and declining again afterwards. Jeff, any thoughts on why this decline happened relatively recently?
Absolutely. Let me give some perspective on this. This chart, as you mentioned, is U.S. trends, but across all industries and commerce types. So it's including internet, web, basically online payments, as well as offline payments. If you look at the phenomenal rise of internet commerce over the past decade or slightly more even, it's pushed cash and non-digital payment formats out of the game. It's also been a lever, though, to innovate. We're seeing newer types of payment options, things like cash apps and naturally wallets, digital wallets have become extremely popular over the last few years. The core, though, if you see it shifted during COVID, where you see that precipitous decline, in the use of cash. Right, it's those couple of years, and that, of course, is
people were afraid to touch money.
Pardon? Boris?
People were afraid to touch money because of the experience.
Indeed, but more so they couldn't really get to do in-person purchasing, so they moved online. I actually saw an interesting study in from the World Bank where 40% of first-time e-commerce users in Western adult populations occurred during the pandemic. So none of this is really surprising. What's surprising is that the trail that continues, right? We would have thought that there would have been a rebound afterwards where people get comfortable with returning to normal. But what's happened is that the catalyst of the pandemic has caused a shift in buying and payment habits. And that's these behaviors that have changed is what's so interesting because, certainly on the consumer side, it's easier and people are more comfortable purchasing things online. But merchants have learned to embrace the benefits of different payment types. And they're also doing better at managing the risks of digital and credit card payments. So that's another shift that has really changed the mix.
Interesting. So the next question is this trend we see in our data as well? So the short answer is yes. Jeff, can you tell us about it?
Yeah, so the overall decline in cash, this trend we're seeing, of course, in our data, and looking at the last chart, it's the overall picture in terms of payment across all types of industries and sectors. What's interesting in the field service pros, they are an interesting hybrid. Right? Our customers are out in the field, they're at customers' homes, and they're able to take payments in person. Okay? I would say this is especially true in those shorter emergency types of services where you're in and out, and most of our customers don't leave without taking payment from our clients. Cash is really viable for those kinds of jobs. But nonetheless, we're seeing a steady and significant decline year over year. In the chart that you're looking at, essentially you're looking at the difference in the paid volume in cash that we're seeing in our data, and we have obviously a lot of customers, and it's quite a sample of data, and we're seeing essentially a trend where quarter over quarter, there's been a drop in the percentage of cash being used for job payments. Overall, on the year, it's about 10%. The most noticeable is in Q3, which is July, August, September. This is the high season for most of our verticals that we're supporting. Not all, but a good chunk of them. And there's a 14% drop during that period, year over year. For kicks, actually, Boris, I looked at it today. And what we're seeing January, so comparing January 24 and January 23 to see if that trend, which we believe will continue, if we're seeing it in January already, and already we're seeing a 5% difference. So the drop is continuing.
So we're always like halfway through the month, so it's interesting to see.
Yes.
Interesting.
In terms of where it's coming from, I should say, as I noted, it's changes in behavior for sure. If you think about it, our wallets, I have tons of cards in my wallets, but I never seem to have cash. And I think, that's especially true, a younger generation as well. But on the flip side, what's really interesting is that many pros prefer the online payments because it provides a uniform professional customer experience. I speak to customers a lot, and our customers, I often talk about the benefits of taking cards while they're on site, taking payments while they're on site, or taking credit cards online through, for example, our client portal. And when it's interesting because many of them say, no, I have to have that workflow where I send a customer to pay offline, online. And that forces, credit card payments. And they do it because they don't want to get their workers involved in payments. There's confusion, miscommunication often. So it's really interesting that the technology that we're providing also is providing, is increasing the use of credit card payments. We seem to have a technical.
Sorry, I had a technical difficulty. One moment. It happens in the right time.
Always.
Yeah.
But we're seeing that trend. Go ahead, Boris, now that you're back online.
So thank you. I heard most of it, but I'm sure everyone else heard it. Now, with the perfect timing, I actually like to take a minute and learn more from our attendees. I'm sharing now a quick poll, which you can see in the polls menu in the right pane. If you don't see it, just click on the polls icon at the bottom menu and submit your answers. You need to pick an answer and then scroll a bit down and do submit vote. And let's learn what are the emerging payment types your company is seeing. It's interesting to see. Also take a minute. Next time we should add music here, I think. also a good chance to call my internet provider to tell them that I'm quitting. Cool. So it's starting to get interesting. I see that most of you see that basically, actually I have a bit of a type, but Cash Apps is an emerging payment type. Interesting. Please continue to submit your answers. Meanwhile, I'd like to shift the focus again and talk about your clients as business owners. What is it that they want? So data shows that your clients prefer to use less cash. In fact, 53% use digital wallets more often than traditional payment methods, such as paying with cash or swiping with physical debit or credit card. Unsurprisingly, this is especially true for younger consumers. They're at least twice as likely to use digital wallet apps than their older counterparts. Now here, we see the estimates on the number of users of selected contactless platforms from 2019 and 2021, with forecasts from 2022 to 2026. In short, it means that 1 out of every 5 US consumers uses Apple Pay or Google Pay at least once a month. Now, to me, it raises one simple question. What makes consumers prefer digital wallets? Now, the answer is simple. Over 40% say it's because it's convenient. Now, that's nice and all, but how does it help you as business owners? So 47% of Americans say that they spend more money when using digital wallets compared to traditional payment methods. Katelyn, how does that impact our Workiz customers?
Yeah, absolutely. So because younger customers especially are more likely to want to pay via digital wallets, one way that our Workiz users could take advantage of this is through adding optional add-on upsells on estimates, where your clients can actually just go on, select any upsells that they want on the estimate, and then you're making that extra money easily just because they're browsing online, they're doing it through their portal, it's convenient for them. And we've noticed that customers are 47% more likely to spend more on digital payments versus traditional payment methods. So it's a good way for you to just take advantage of that and make a little extra money through upsells on your end.
Definitely. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Boris, come on, cash is also convenient. But Jeff, if we look a bit deeper into that, it's not entirely true, is it?
Not at all. There's a comfort in receiving cash. We know that. You've done the work. You've spent money on supplies and expenses. And when you receive cash, you know you're set. You're not going to get chargebacks, disputes, bounce checks, right? That's all true. But when you look at professionals, when professionals in the financial services world speak about it, they recognize that cash is not the cheapest solution and it's not the most reliable payment method. And this is actually surprising, but it's quite the opposite. When you take the overall cost of cash, so you include all the operational expenses of moving the money, of the banking, the accounting, experts estimate that it costs somewhere between 4 and 15%. Wow. That's a huge amount. That's taking a big chunk out of your business. Naturally that number fluctuates in the size of transactions and the processes you put in place. But, we're talking about 2 to 5 times more than a lot of the digital payment types. When customers ask me all the time how they can lower their processing costs, and the first thing I do is look at their volume of cash payments. Because to me, if we could work with them to lower the volume that they're getting paid in cash, it will inevitably it improves their bottom line. Mm-hmm. But the cost of cash is only part of the story. The overhead, the operational overhead needed to collect, to retrieve, deposit, and ultimately reconcile the cash payments, it takes your team, you and your team's focus away from what you're there to do, and that is to grow your customer base and deliver top-notch service. Finally, we have to remember that cash is a physical asset, and it's an asset that's completely untraceable. There's tremendous vulnerability in cash. Cash can be lost, stolen, it can be damaged, and you get leakage. You get leakage from customers, from employees that, there's employee activity, let's say questionable activity in the way they report cash, but they also, even a good employee that makes an honest human error, what it leads to, it's extra work, customer and employee complaints. You don't have that with digital payment. Actually, digital payments, it reduces employee theft, and it practically eliminates human error.
Digital fingerprint, everything is trackable.
Exactly. It's interesting that, on the sort of on one side of the spectrum, we have customers who have shifted to no cash policies. I mean, that's pretty extreme, but it's for some of them, it's actually a great way to work. It reduces, their costs, and makes operations more manageable.
I see. Interesting. So let's do a deep dive into that. Let's talk about the alternatives out there. Let's start with credit card processing. Katelyn, can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So credit card processing is something that your clients are already naturally doing, and they usually prefer this method anyway. As a business owner, one concern can definitely be how do you, from a business perspective, make this less risky? So one way that you can securely accept credit cards is by using a card reader, which in the last couple of years now that Tap to Pay is out, it's a little less favorable because you have to carry around an extra device. Your technicians might lose it on the job, or it stops working. So another popular alternative is now Tap to Pay, where you can actually just tap the credit card right to your phone. It seamlessly takes the payment, and it makes it really easy for you to take that secure payment out in the field with less risk of disputes on your end. And you get that discounted rate as well, which is always a bonus. So always looking to save a little money on that end. So the beauty of it is that it also supports digital wallets, so that they can just tap phone to phone and securely collect payment through the job that way as well.
Just the other day, I figured out that I don't actually remember where is my physical wallet, which might be a problem, but yeah, let's do that. Like I pay everything with my iPhone, and it's so convenient.
Yeah, absolutely.
Another thing we have is bank transfers.
Yes. So this is another way that you can easily get paid through the Workiz system. On Workiz Pay, you can accept ACH or bank transfers, which are able to be taken right through the client portal. And this has been a great solution for our residential customers, residential clients. And then we're working on soon releasing an option for commercial clients as well. Because a lot of the times ACH payments are taken for larger invoices, and it is a safe way for your business to get paid since they're a more secure transaction and it is harder to dispute.
Interesting. What about checks? Do we even see customers that are paying, clients that are paying with checks?
We do. So actually 30% of our volume for Workiz users is still coming from check deposits. Wow. Commercial clients are likely to pay this way via ACH or check. And then older clients still prefer this way as well on the residential side. So I think we'll be talking a little bit more about the checks soon as well.
It seems like it, yeah. What about Cash Apps?
Cash App. So this is something that we're watching, a trend that we're keeping an eye on. So 3 to 4% of our Workiz jobs are currently paid via Cash Apps like Venmo, Zelle, Cash App. So it's something that we're keeping an eye on in terms of integrating. Right now, you can record payments that way through our system.
Definitely. As we saw in the poll, a lot of our clients see that as an emerging payment type that they're seeing more and more of use of. So as our clients, we're also always with our eyes and ears open to the trends and adopting accordingly. So that's interesting to see. Cool. Now, there's also the option of buy now, pay later, installments and consumer financing. What can you tell me about that?
So when we talk about payments, we would really be remiss if we didn't talk a little bit about buy now, pay later. It's not really installments and financing is not new really for our service pros in the more larger mechanical complex service industries. When a person gets a quote for a $30,000 replacement of their central air in their home, it's really hard to pay that all at once, and they need a financing plan that allows them to pay that kind of money across multiple months or even a couple of years. Mm-hmm. What has changed recently, and the shift is really about the smaller transactions. American consumers expect to break up even smaller price jobs into a number of installments. I've heard an interesting study where Americans just don't often have the savings or the ability to pay for unexpected costs, and the breaking point I heard is around $400. So you have a fairly low-paying job, and a customer really needs installments as an option. Consumers also have really been conditioned. There's been a lot of innovation around buy now, pay later solutions. And so every time you check out, you're like, oh yeah, let me pay this in 3 months. And that's the expectation that consumers are having as well. When you give them a price, how much will it cost if I pay in 3 or 4 months? And that's what Sunbit really offers. It offers up to $10K of, it's a company that we're partnering with to provide installment plans. It gives our customers up to $10,000 of financing for their customers. And the way it works is that, you could have even a 0 APR option that can break up the payment in 3 months. The beauty of it is that it's a real-time soft credit check, and it has a phenomenal approval rates around the 90% mark. So consumers have access to this financing through our partnership with Sunbit. The one thing I want to reinforce, though, and this is really super important when we're talking about buy now, pay later and financing. It's, and this is why I sort of talk about it as an appendix to payments, because this isn't about the final stage of collecting payments. Of course, it's part of it, but the big reason for this is to drive more job conversions. Our customers send out many quotes, and a lot of them obviously don't. The vast majority actually don't turn into jobs. The reason for that is never clear, right? There's one reason, many reasons, but experts really all agree that payment plans are an enormous differentiator that helps you close jobs. So we really look at this as a way to increase revenue and job conversion.
Interesting. So definitely lots of options, but let's take a step back. If I'm a business owner, how will I know what payment type is the best? Can you help me figure it out?
Great question. And whenever I'm asked to recommend payment methods, I have to always start by saying that the payment method is often demanded by your end clients, and service pros can only influence the direction that they take. And that you have to be very much aware of. That's why I like to compare payment methods across 2 vectors. The first axis, which you're seeing in the chart, is the north-south, which is around customer experience, right? This is the payment experience that your customers, the service pros, get. It includes how easy it is to pay with that method, how intuitive it is, how accessible, how much, what amounts of money you could pay with that payment method. Does it have a minimum, maximum? Those are all the kinds of considerations in terms of customer payment experience. But the flip side of it, and that's the east-west axis there, is around your merchant operations. Naturally, payments have a huge back office and operational component. It's not just a customer-facing piece of the story. And any payment method has to be measured across this axis. As much as possible, healthy businesses should steer their clients towards payments that are cheaper, digital, traceable, where you can reconcile easily and minimize that operational lift. Often, these two vectors, they really conflict with each other, right? You have the the customer demands versus the ease of use for you, or the operational efficiencies that you get. I'll give you a great example. ACH, it's really a sound payment type for merchants. It's of course digital, it's integrated, it's traceable, it's cheap, it's relatively cheap, but often it's more cumbersome for consumers because they might not be used to it, or they don't have their bank details on hand. Checks, on the other hand, is the flip side, right? There are certain types of consumer demographics that absolutely want checks, to pay with checks, or need to pay with checks, like commercial customers. And those guys, have to pay with it and want to pay with it, but on the other hand, it has it carries a heavy operational cost. So if you ask me the question, to get to the point, if I'm looking at that overall balance, that delightful customer experience and against the operational efficiency of credit cards, the operational efficiency, I would say credit cards, as you can see, it's in the top right-hand quadrant. That is clearly the leading choice. It's accessible, it's intuitive. Most people have a reasonable credit limit that allows them to pay for fairly large jobs. And on an operational side, it's easy. It's one of the easiest solutions, because again, it's all integrated through your FSM, and it's easy to reconcile and entirely digital and traceable. So it's a very manageable type.
Fascinating. So now I really just need to figure out which business I need to open, but the financial part is I got covered. So I want to share another short poll. Again, feel free to submit your answers and let us know what is the financial tool you're excited to implement, which you haven't yet. I have my guesses right now, but let's see if it aligns with everything I have in mind. Once again, you can see the poll in the polls tab, the polls icon. So a lot of good numbers for tap to pay, financing, and bank transfers. It's like watching interesting tournaments going live. That's cool. Cool. So, let's talk a little bit about the holy grail here. Okay. So, how can business owners verify their business is ready to handle the decline in cash? Or in short, how can Workiz can help my business?
Okay, Boris. I like to bundle it in a number of categories in terms of how we help you with payments. First of all, I think it's clear the message that we've made and what we hear from our customers. Your customers want choice, and we cover all the options really well. It's important for your success that you provide robust options that speak to different types of customers with different risk profiles. Right? I'll give you some examples. We spoke about a little bit residential versus commercial. There's tech-savvy millennials versus, older cohorts of customers. You have established recurring clients that you know and trust, and new ones that are just trying out your business. Mm-hmm. Those are all these kinds of things can impact how and the way you process it. So Workiz model is to support a wide array of payments that's embedded in your workflow. And for your company to really scale, it's crucial that you have an uniform process for collecting, reporting, for automations, right? It all has to be in a single system. If you need to work in multiple tools and multiple processes without the full visibility of all your job details, the operational overhead would be way too high, and frankly, your delivery capacity will not be the bottleneck. It will be actually your operational capacity will be your bottleneck for expansion, and that's a shame.
Yeah, definitely.
The second piece of this is that we support you and your tax with the guidelines and tools to maximize revenue and minimize costs. Okay, how do we do that? For example, we offer a dispute best practices. Okay, and that is both processes but also the tools that you need in order to ensure higher win rates. And we also allow you to add fees for service fees or tipping functionality in order to maximize revenue. And we've always we create, our goal is to create simplified payment interfaces like our client portal that allows your techs to accept payments in a professional manner without having to know without having difficulty in training them or having to use complicated technical tools. The last pillar, I would say, is around integration, and the fact that our integrated platform allows us to, that we are an integrated platform. It allows us to report, to show reports, to see the jobs, and know the payment statuses at any time. It also enables automations to create really streamlined activities. One of my favorite features is our auto reconciliation, and that is reduced hours of work per month for many of our customers in these tedious, time-consuming bookkeeping activities.
Yeah, by the way, not only yours, we hear from a lot of our clients that it's been a huge time-saving feature for them, and it basically makes the whole month that goes towards the end of the fiscal year to be way less stressful. So that's definitely, we hear it all the time.
Yeah, but that's definitely so. And I think I wanted to end on this this piece of it, and just one thought. Payments really it's often the last interaction you have with your customer in their journey. When you have a positive professional experience in the payment area, it often is the difference, between having a satisfied repeat customer that comes back for more work and refers, her friends and family to you, versus, frankly, a disgruntled customer who leaves a bad review and impacts your business success. So it's important to keep that in mind.
Definitely. Now, I wanna before we move to see if we have some questions. I think that we can grant our attendees here with some scoops. You want to give us some spoilers on what's ahead for Workiz Pay, but only if you want to.
Yeah, for sure. Some juicy teasers of what's coming out, and we're always innovating. At Workiz, it's really part of our DNA. And we're looking to improve payments in both of those vectors that I described, making it a better payment experience for our customers, as well as simplifying the operations of our service pros. And we're moving in a few directions to improve that. Firstly, check deposits. Actually, that was one of the popular. I saw it, I think it was second in the poll. And that's really telling, because we recognize that there's a lot of hassle, of course, in collecting checks, in depositing them, in storing them, and we want to make that process much easier. We know, Katelyn mentioned 30% of our job volume is in checks, and we want to have a processing solution where you'll be able to deposit checks by your text through our Workiz app in the field while you're with that customer. So if there is a problem, a technical issue with the check, it will immediately, alert you, and you can make that correction while you're still with the customer.
And we have beta coming up soon, right?
Yes,
So,
we're gonna.
So if any of you want to join the beta, we would love that, and we will share a sign-up form in the coming days with you. So feel free to join. We would really, really appreciate any feedback you might have. It will make Workiz Pay and the check solution way better. We're sure of it. Anything else you want to share with us?
Yeah, look, we are running, so there's a lot going on.
Don't tell too much, though.
And now it's all family, right? It's our community of customers and some of the leads. I think some of the prospects that are out there that hopefully will join the Workiz community real soon. So yeah, I want to share that the next piece of it is actually also all of this is planned next few months. Hopefully by the end of the quarter, we'll see all of this. The next piece of it is ACH bank transfers. And we have a solution, of course, that are already out there for residential customers. But one of the biggest blockers that we're finding for our commercial customers is the need to pay it with ACH. With their back end systems, they need to remit the payment that way. We are planning to open it up to commercial customers and make those changes, and that will really allow you to open opportunities for you for this new customer segment. The next thing, also usually exciting, we spoke about financing a bit and the buy now, pay later. We are now partnering with WiseTech, and we're going to roll out an alternative financing solution to Sunbit. The what's nice about WiseTech is that it's a slightly different option that allows customers to get $25,000, up to $25,000 in job financing. So that's a really big boost, and it's going to help a lot of our complex industries that are service industries that our customers are in. So as you pointed out, absolutely, we're always looking for early adopters. So if you are interested in any of these, please reach out to us. I did want to end though with one last piece of it, right? We spoke the point of this afternoon is really about payments. And all the work we're doing around different payments. But payments for us in the financial services product line within Workiz is really just the foundational layer. Our strategy is to provide all the services and technology that you need for financial products directly in our platform, so you can grow your business with ease. And in doing so, the building blocks is the payments, right? That's the first piece in managing your cash flow, is to actually get the payments that you're due. But the next piece of it is really about access to capital and controlling expenses. In the past couple of months, a lot of you might have seen it. We've rolled out the Workiz card, and that is continuing to roll out to more and more customers. That is a unique expense card that is designed explicitly for service pros. The credit line is based on your past historical job activity, so you can easily buy the supplies that you need for a job, and even if you're going to be paid a week or two later. And it also allows you to create cards for your employees, that it really gives them autonomy, but also you can control it. So you can control the spend and the limits that your employees can spend. So it's really a great tool to use in order to manage your expenses. The best part of it, of course, is that all your statements and all your purchases are in Workiz, so you can see it there, whether it's you've purchased supplies or equipment or inventory or gas, ad spend. It's all in there, and you'll be able to manage it much better within your Workiz dashboard. So there's a tremendous amount of activity that we have. We have a lot, there are a lot of things coming down the pike, and we're really pumped up about it. And
I'm taking your word for it. I'd say we meet here in 1 year and see like everything, how it goes, and what else did we add to Workiz Pay and Workiz as general. I think it's going to be really, really exciting to see how it all like comes up.
For sure.
Right. So here's the fun part. If you have any questions, feel free to submit in the questions tab below. I do see one question, actually two questions. So I have one customer that says, I already use Square, and we do know that some of our customers use Square or Clover or others. I already use Square to manage my business, to manage my finances. How is Workiz Pay different from other similar products on the market? That's a good question.
Yeah, I can take that one. So, we do function similarly in the way that we all accept credit cards, but with using Workiz Pay as an all-in-one solution, it's going to save you time and money not having to reconcile between multiple systems. It looks professional for your clients because you're doing everything all in one place. And then a lot of the extra features that we have built into Workiz Pay really help solidify that choice for a lot of people because we have the automations, which will save you time on the administrative side, not having to follow up on unpaid invoices. We've got service plans for your recurring revenue. And then online booking also lets people pay ahead of your job even for services. In terms of retaining your employees, a lot of our customers love the tips and then the custom tip default amounts and the tip reporting as well, which makes it clear on your end who needs to get paid out for which jobs. And then service fees, obviously Jeff mentioned that one as well. A lot of our business owners like being able to help with the cost of accepting credit cards by passing on a percentage to their customers. And QuickBooks, our QuickBooks integration is very popular for the auto reconciliation feature within Workiz Pay.
Cool. Another question we have is, before you take a payment, you have to have an invoice. Is there an invoice component on the drawing board? This, I think, it means like, is it possible to do invoicing from Workiz? The answer is yes. And it's really, really easy. We'd love to show you how to do it. You can feel free to reach out. Yeah, that's interesting. Then another big question actually is, how does the Workiz actually help my business grow? Who wants to take that one?
Yeah, I can take that one too. Workiz users, we found that people that use the Workiz system experience 40% growth year over year through our all-in-one software, taking payments, using the service plans we spoke about, our phone system, and then the automations that help your business grow faster. Our reports help you track revenue attribution, which is really important so you can see as a business owner that the money that you're spending on advertising is actually being spent effectively for where you're getting the most good quality leads from.
Cool. Okay, so basically that's all the time we have today. Katelyn, Jeff, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge with us. The data, the numbers, it was really, really insightful to me, and I hope for our attendees. And thank you all for joining us. We have a lot of exciting webinars in the coming weeks. I hope to see you there. Have a great day, an amazing year of growth with Workiz. Thank you so much. See you guys in the next one.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.